Michelle with Pink and Maine. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be making some sweet and simple cards with the Freezin Season Crafty Courtyard kit. As of the filming of this video, we do still have some of these kits available for individual purchase. So head on over to pinkandmaine.com to check them out. But let's get started with our first card. For the first one, we're actually going to make two cards. Kind of a 2-for-1 here. I've got my parts and pieces cut out. I have used our diagonal stripes cover die to cut out this little bumpy frame. And then the diagonal pieces I've cut with a piece of the pattern paper and then a piece of the holographic paper that's included in the kit. I've already added a piece of our adhesive sheets to the back of the papers before I cut them. So it cut out the papers, but I was careful and it worked out just fine that it almost cut completely through the backing of the adhesive sheet, but not exactly. So it kind of holds the stripes together, which is nice. So the reason we're getting 2-for-1 is that I'm going to intermix these two sheets of stripes here. So we're going to have some patterns mixed in with the holographic. So I'm just going to start by picking one and starting to lay the stripes down. Now we have our two card front panels done. Aren't those cool? I love that. And you could do that with any pattern papers, colored cardstocks. It's just a super fun look there. So I'm going to glue these down to the front of the cards. I've cut out 2 pieces of vellum with our stitch circle dies, and I've just cut a little bit off the side of the circle. I like the look of the vellum on here because it'll give a nice place for our little penguins to sit on the card and be grounded, but it doesn't take too much away from that fun background. I'm using the 2 sweet little penguins that are kind of snuggling here with the one is holding the heart, and I'm going to glue those down to the vellum circles first. And now I can adhere the little vellum semicircles because I can put the glue where the penguins are and it won't show through the vellum. Now we're ready to add our sentiments, and I've stamped 2 of them from the stamp set. Your friendship warms my heart. And I'm just going to layer it right over the bottom of the vellum circle and just right under their little feet. So it just kind of brings everything together. So we'll glue these down next. And to finish off these cards, I'm just going to add a few of the glitter enamel dots. And there's our first 2 cards. I think this came out really cute. For our next card, I have cut the size of the card front, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's A2 size card. I've cut this beautiful purple glitter paper that's inside the kit to fit the front of the card. And then on top of that, I've cut 5 1/4 by 4 inches, a piece of white cardstock, and I've run it through my die cut machine with the embossing folder that's in the kit. And you get this beautiful textured piece of paper, which you can actually use the front or the back, just depending on which look you like for your card. So I'm going to glue these together and put them on the front of the card. Next, I have cut a strip of the stripe paper from the paper pad and a strip of teal that's just a little bit wider than that. I'm going to glue these together and glue them on the card. And last but not least, I've got the sentiment, "You're the coolest," stamped and cut out, and our little penguin holding the balloon. And I'm just going to put him on top of the little strips of paper there. So this is super simple yet sweet card with our little penguin. I love the added touch that embossed paper gives with the glitter paper behind it for a little shine. I'm going to add a few glitter enamel dots to finish the card off. And there is our next card. For our next card, we're making another A2 size card, but we're going to do a little bit of ink blending with the stencil in the kit. This is a really fun stencil. It's like a funky snowflake pattern. I have die cut with our notched corner dies, a rectangular piece, and it has those little fun notched corners. It also has stitching that goes on the inside there, and it gives a nice finished look. And I've cut out a piece of the white glitter paper that's in the kit. This stuff is gorgeous. So you can put ink to this white glitter paper and change the colors. So we're gonna blend some ink on here. I'll just put our stencil down over it. So I'm using our mini ergonomic blender brush and some purple ink. Just gonna get some ink on the brush. And I'm just gonna hold this down instead of taping it or anything. We're just gonna brush that ink on the paper. All I have to do is rub my blender brush on our microfiber cleaning cloth and it'll be good to go for next time. Are we ready for the reveal? I love this part. Ta-da! Oh, isn't that cool? I love it. And just a little quick tip, we have a squeaky clean brush cleaner that'll help you clean the ink off your brush, but you can also spritz it a couple times in your stencil and then just wipe it off with our microfiber cloth and your stencil will be clean and good as new. So now we're ready to assemble our card. With one of our stitched rectangle dies, I cut out some of this beautiful green teal textured polka dot paper from the kit. So I'm going to glue this on the card front. And now I'm going to glue down our ink blended glitter paper die cut piece. Now I know you're thinking of all your stencils you have that you can create colorful backgrounds on the glitter paper. With our zigzag circle dies, I've cut out a circle, and instead of cutting it off on the side like I normally do, I'm going to let it hang over the side of this panel here, and that still adds interest, gives a fun look to the card. So I'm going to glue that down. I stamped and cut out the sentiment of Frosty Hello. I'm going to put that right across the bottom of that circle. Now we're ready to add our little penguin. I've used the one that's peeking over a little cocoa mug or hot coffee mug here. I've added some foam adhesive to the back so he will pop off the card just a tad. And here is our finished card. I think that came out really cute. For our next card, we're going to make a simple mini slimline card. So my card is 6 1/4 by 3 1/4 when folded. I've cut 2 layering pieces, one with the lime green cardstock and another with a fun pattern paper from the paper pack. I'm going to glue these down to the card front. And our card is actually going to be a landscape card and open up like so. I've cut a piece of polka dot pattern paper to go across the middle. And then I've cut a couple of 1/4-inch strips of holographic paper just to border that. So you get a little bit of a border between the two pattern papers. Breaks them up just a bit. And there is the card front so far. Now I'm going to add our penguins and our sentiment. Our sentiment says there's nobody like you. And we've got this fun little penguin with the crown. And our dancing penguin who's in a tutu. So we're going to add those right about there. There, how cute is that? Those two penguins make quite the pair, don't they? Sweet. For our last card, we're going to make another slimline card. This one's going to be a little different. We're going to make it into a shaker card. So we have 2 mini slimline card bases, and we're going to glue them together at the back. So we have one that closes down like that and one that closes down like that. I find it helps to line them up just perfectly straight. If I stand the card up on the table, line them up, and then press them together. So here is our card base. Folds in and folds closed. So I did cut paper to decorate the inside of the card. So I'm going to put some stripes on this inside fold. Just so it's nice and colorful when we open it up. Now on this side, we're going to wait. I'm going to show you the shaker part over here. So I'm going to close this flap and we're going to put the teal polka dots right here. Let's go ahead and add the piece to the front of the card. So I've die cut a hole with a circle die in the front of the card. So I laid my pattern paper where I wanted it, and I die cut the hole out of that as well. What I did was I actually placed the pattern paper underneath, and I took the white circle that was cut out here, and I laid it on the pattern paper and kind of taped it down with washi tape. And that way I knew exactly where to put my die to cut the circle out of this sheet. So I'm going to glue this to the front of the card. So here's our card so far. We have the plaid on the front, I love that, with the polka dots, and then the stripes on the inside. So now we're going to do, I told you this was going to be a shaker card. But this one, we don't need foam tape or anything like that. And we're actually going to use the packaging that the sequins come in. We're just going to use this packaging up. I'm going to cut off this top part, which is for hanging it, you know, like putting a hook through there and hanging it. I'm going to cut it off without opening it up. I'm just going to cut that off. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the insert card out of the package and then close it back up. So I'll carefully take this out and leave all the sequins inside. And then I'm going to close the package back up. Just like so. So now we have a little packet of sequins that will shake around. And it just so happens that it just does fit the diameter of my circle. So I'm going to glue this packaging on the inside of the card at the back of this circle. With the package glued to the inside of the card, I can now cover that up with another pattern piece of paper that I cut, so you won't see the edges of the packaging. You'll just see pretty pattern paper around it. So we'll glue that down. So I'm just pressing and firmly holding this down until the glue dries well. Now we have the base of the card done. This is so cool. Look at that shaker pocket there. How you can see through the polka dots on the inside. And you open it up, you can see clearly through it. This does not add much bulk to the card at all. It's fairly flat with just that packaging and the sequins there. The hardest part of this is to cut these pieces with the circle in the same spot, and that really isn't that difficult. Oh, I love this. This is fun. So now we're going to decorate the front of the card. I've cut out of our stitch circle dies, I've cut a circle with this teal paper, but I've cut some of it off because I want it to go off the edge of the card. We're going to overlap our little shaker part a little bit, and that's where our penguin is going to sit. I'm going to add our sweet little penguin. It's holding an envelope. And I've stamped and cut out the sentiment just for you. I'm going to put that right below the penguin's feet. And here is our shaker card. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed these cards we created with the Freezin Season Crafty Courtyard kit. I hope it inspires to pull out your kit and start creating. If you don't have one of these kits, they are still available while supplies last. Check them out at pinkandmain.com. And until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.